How do you apply wisdom? Okay, so now we're getting into applying wisdom. Now, for me, many times I would hear Christian folks say in a situation, well, I'll apply wisdom for this. And I kind of don't really know what it means. So, for instance, because for me it seems almost relative. Relative in the sense that, okay, you have two parents and they're dealing with the same school system. One parent says, I will take out my child and homeschool my child because I apply wisdom. The next parent say, I will leave the child in school, I trust in God, so I apply in wisdom. Or something like, two people might be in verbally abusive relationships, marriages. One apply wisdom, stay in the marriage. Next one apply wisdom and leaves because that's abuse. Or my personal favorite, the reward for good work is more work. So one person is giving 40 hours a week on the job, the next person is giving, 70 hours a week on that job. And one person applies wisdom and stay in the job, and the next person apply wisdom and leave the job, because it's a good thing when you do work, because we have to take care of our families. But then you're spending the time at work to earn the money. You're not praying, you're not reading your Bible, you're not going to church, you're not engaging in anything ministry-wise. Where is the line? And how do you apply wisdom? So that's a discussion question. How do you apply wisdom?
Very good question. I could draw on something that we said in our first episode when we sought to give some kind of definition to wisdom. One of the components of wisdom, we said then, was discretion.
Right.
So you understand the situation, you have the whole situation, you have insight into it, you can analyze it, and you will know what makes people tick. You will know why members in a church behave the way they do, and you're dealing and treating with persons with different degrees of education and different cultural backgrounds and so on. And you have to treat each person differently. So knowing all of that is where discretion will come in. Knowing to do, what to do, when to do it, how to do it, when to talk, when not to talk. So I would say that in applying wisdom, we would exercise this discretion.
Okay.
Right? Take the abusive situation, for example. To start with, as a marriage counselor and as someone who has been married for 37 years, I am totally against abuse, verbal or otherwise. And verbal, though physical abuse is not the only abuse, there's
Right.
the various kinds of abuse, verbal, economic, and so on. But I take it that we're talking violence.
Any kind.
Any kind.
Yeah.
All right. So if it is a case of physical abuse, I think that a person should not stay in that marriage. Or discretion will tell you, wisdom will tell you, why am I staying in this marriage when I run the risk of losing my life? So you apply wisdom,
Right.
and you get out of it. But in the case of verbal abuse, nobody really likes to be abused verbally. But that is the one might say, well, better can't be done, so I'll stay in the relationship.
Okay.
Right? But it really comes to having the insight into the whole situation. Again, I have to reference what I understand, my understanding of wisdom from a biblical perspective. Understanding, insight, and discretion. So we understand the whole thing, we see the whole situation. Then the insight really says to us what we need to see in the situation, through the situation, discern the situation, And once we understand that, now the discretion will kick in. Right? God will give you the inspiration, and God will give you the grace to do what you need to do. So that will be my answer, and I hope that that is satisfactory.
Well, definitely. I don't know if we have time to stick this little question in. But based on what I'm hearing,
Yes.
would it take a level of humility to even know that I need to ask God for wisdom, that I don't know everything? Because, you know, sometimes people make things very black and white. So, you know, if they talk to me a certain way in work, I'll leave any job. Or if, you know, something happened in school, I'll take it on my child, or because of X. And to me, it comes off a little like you trust in yourself, but does it even take some level of humility?
Yes.
For wisdom.
Yes, I agree. Nobody knows everything. We have our own wisdom that we may have acquired in our lifetime from our parents and from situations and so on, through observation of life. But there's a higher wisdom, which is the wisdom of God. And you know what the Bible tells us? That the whole world was created by His wisdom, in His wisdom, the ever-wise God. And you know, you really don't even have to be a Bible believer. Just common sense will tell you that some wise person or being had to do all of this. It just couldn't happen, you know. What keeps the certain laws in place? You throw something up in the air and it comes back down, the law of gravity. What keeps the ocean at a particular boundary, that it doesn't overtake all of the land? Somebody had to design it, and God in His wisdom did it. So He's the ever-wise God. We, on the other hand, and that's the question you're asking, if it will take a level of humility, the answer is yes, because we don't know everything. And it will be smart of us, and it will be mature of us, and the intelligent thing for us as human beings is to humble ourselves and allow God to inspire us and give us the revelation, and then He too will give us the grace to do what we need to do.